Great stream, y'all. Okay.
Dear Esther, the gulls do not land here anymore. I've noticed that this year they seem to shun the place. Maybe it's the depletion of the fishing stock driving them away. Perhaps it's me. When he first landed,
well, this looks cool.
Donnelly wrote that the herds were sickly, and their shepherds the lowest of the miserable classes that populate these Hebridean islands. 300 years later, even they have departed.
Okay. Oh. Someone had Taco Bell. Someone had some Taco Bell there. So the liminal space motif that this does is abandoned homes. This is an abandoned island that I'm on. So if you've ever been in an abandoned house, abandoned building or something, you know that creepy feeling that you get from it? That's what this is all about. Okay. Let's go out this way, I guess. Thank you for getting that clip, Snarky. Can I fall off into the water? I can. Okay. Now I don't know how to get back up. Okay, so I can fall off. That's good to know. How are you doing tonight, Evans? How was your day? Snarky has been busy as all hell. Was chill. Mine was fairly chill. I am moving cubicles at work. So I had to pack everything up from my desk to move to another cubicle. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. And the reason I'm moving cubicles is we have a couple of
Those islands in the distance, I'm sure, are nothing more than relics of another
what
time.
islands in the
Sleeping
distance?
giants,
Oh,
some
out there?
rambled gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries.
What's wrong with my wrist? What's up with my wrist? But they basically move people around cubicles just to get things more efficient. And this was my time to move. I hadn't moved for years. That doesn't look natural. That's that spiral thing, isn't it? The... oh, what do you call it? A lot of woo people believe it's the creation of the universe or something. Sacred geometry kind of stuff.
I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves. My
It's just
forehead
a
mount.
car door.
This aerial will transmit into me so. All over are exposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
So did you work from home or did you play Dwarf Fortress most of the day, Evans? That's the question. Also, just so everyone knows, if by some slight chance this stream goes down, we are having an ice storm right now. Every once in a while that'll take out the power. Hopefully not. But just wanted to let you all know. If I abruptly just am gone, that's the case. This is also my first stream in a long time. Streaming at 1080p. What's up, Drop It Like It's Hotchner? How you doing? And Pandy, how are you doing? But I haven't streamed in 1080p for a long time and decided to do it because I am starting to upload videos to YouTube. And YouTube likes the 1080p a lot. How is everyone? I'm doing all right. This is more of a chill kind of narrative, little bit spooky game tonight that I'm playing. My game Friday is going to be all sorts of spooky, all sorts of scary. I'm playing Home Sweet Home, which the only... Yeah, subscribe to me on YouTube if you'd be kind.
From the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
Wow, what in the neurosis is happening? Yes. I got home, and there were just boxes everywhere.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland with the fishing boats, and notice and aid, or impose a cordon of protection. Wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts.
So
My
they
lines
would...
are just for this. To keep any would-be rescuers at bay.
Oh, okay.
The infection is not simply of the flesh.
So that's just like, that's like a warning, those cuts into that. Yeah, Snarky was doing all kinds of sorting. So the living room was just a mess when I went to lunch. Spoopy games require spoopy sounds.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
Well, that's kind of cool. But yeah, Friday I am going to be playing Home Sweet Home, which I've heard is described as scarier than Visage. And we all know how well I did with Visage.
I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology,
Visage was awful.
He still spiraled in panic.
It was scary.
Thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet.
I've heard it plays better than Visage.
Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. I find myself increasingly unable to find that point where the hermit ends and Paul and I begin. We are woven into a sodden blanket, stuffed into the bottom of a boat to stop the leak and hold back the ocean. My neck aches from staring up at the aerial. It mirrors the dull throb in my gut where I am sure I've begun to form another stone. In my dreams, it forms into a perfect representation of Lot's wife, head over her shoulder, staring along the motorway at the approaching traffic in a vacuum of fatalistic calm.
Why did I read that as spoopy games require spoopy sounds, then put in labeled Ziploc baggies and storage bins? Yes, that's what you got to do with them. So this looks like a neuron of some sort. Because it was actual topic in here and you went off on a tangent. Well, am I just going back out of the cave? Did I just visit the cave for... Okay. This game is beautiful. But how are you doing, Klaus? Yeah, I'm excited for Friday's stream as well. Saturday we should be finishing up Green Hell. And after that we're going to play Don't Starve together for a few weeks. So that'll be a lot of fun as well.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds.
Occupation by what? By who?
Said that human ashes make great fertilizer.
Oh.
You could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
That doesn't sound splendid. I don't want to repopulate a bay with someone's ashes. We got a Bible and is it units in chemistry? Or Unit 1 chemistry is what I think it says. You ever been out in like an open area where there was just an eerie feeling? That's what this kind of feels like, just walking alone out in nature, and you just get this little bit of an eerie feeling. Like maybe someone's watching you or someone's near. I don't know where I'm headed. We're loading.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere
You'd
between
think.
the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Okay. Just got like a ship graveyard of some sort. Creamer? Creamer of some sort. Next Monday, I will be playing. I think next Monday, some short, scary games. I've got a bunch, and I'm excited. The stereo sound in this is great. It's got all the noises are just perfect. Seat. I'm going into this game completely blind, not knowing what it's about. It was recommended to me, so I'm not actually sure. What are you?
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
New hermits? I don't know. I didn't invite them. What does that ship say? Something about neither did he eat nor drink. And neither did he eat nor drink. Who? Who didn't eat or drink? Esther? Did Esther not eat or drink? Is Esther a zombie? Because they eat. I don't know that they drink much, but they eat. I suppose you gotta drink a little bit if you're eating flesh that's filled with blood.
Visited me in the hospital.
Oh, kidney stones, lovely.
When I was still half submerged in anesthetic.
Those are fantastic.
Your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Your stones grew into an island. That is a serious medical condition, sir. You need to get those kidney stones removed. I don't recommend anyone get kidney stones because if you've ever had one, youch. Just youch. There's only two ways out. One by operation, one by just coming out.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under.
Looked into the shaft.
I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
Is there? I'm getting born again? I can't, I'm apostate. But no, and let me tell you, when you have a stone come out, when something solid comes out of a hole in which no solid is supposed to come out of, you feel it. You feel it.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders.
Jakobsen.
He came here every summer while
rolls off the tongue,
hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve
That's
white lines into the
unfortunate.
cliff for him either. When the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave.
Fucking bird.
Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
I don't really think anyone ever plans on getting kidney stones, Evans. Unfortunately, it's just kind of a thing that happens. How do you get kidney stones? As far as I know, it's excess calcium. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a little creepy.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
I don't like heights. So that section just... it got me. Not a fan of that. Hello, Senpai.
Early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun.
Speaking of calcified
Goats had
Senpai,
adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley.
how is Senpai
In
calcified?
reports, they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft.
I don't...
But I cannot corroborate this story.
Yeah, we were talking about calcium buildup. I understand that, but how did speaking of calcified, Senpai! It just caught me off guard.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg.
I did?
I think the femur is broken.
It is?
It is clearly infected.
What?
The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones.
May all your bacon burn.
To the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
I don't know if I... am I the guy that's talking? Am I the narrator? Am I Esther? I don't know. Whoa! Well, okay. What am I looking at? What am I looking at?
Did not pass through the caves.
What is that?
Here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
Oh, that's the hole that I fell through. Okay. It looked like an eye at first. Well, this is definitely another fear. Being in a cave. I don't like caves. That looks like a penis. That looks like a penis. That looks like a penis. That looks like a little penis. The game's beautiful, I'll give them that. This where you all start singing "Will the Circle Be Unbroken?" And then I get my superpowers.
Taken the car and shaken it like a cocktail. The glove compartment had been opened and emptied with the ashtrays and the boot. It made for a crumpled museum, a shattered exhibition.
Okay. I like to paint. Whoever the narrator is, they like to paint. So many in the field. Yeah, whoever did this. Am I just supposed to drop down? I guess so. Oh. If you're ever in a cave, you should never jump off a cliff into water, because you don't know how deep that water's going to be, or if there's any of these things sticking up in the water, because there very well could be. And you don't want to get one of those in the pooper, or you'll die. That's just science. Is it? I always get it mixed up. Is it stalagmites that come down and stalactites that go up? Or is it stalagmites that go down, or tights that go down and mites that go up? I don't know. You take either of those to the pooper, you're not going to take anything else. Stalagmites are mounds. Okay. So these are mites. And those are tights. Do you ever have a tight mite? Would a mite know a tight mite? Probably. I don't know. Princess is getting comfortable here. She walked right up to Ciliet and stole her snack. Oh, no. I actually have to jump out of my chair. And then jump right back in. Because I need to change out my snus. Cilietta kicked, then Princess played tug of war with me to get the snack away from us. Snus is snus. Snus is sus. Why is snus sus? There's nothing sus about snus. It's the susless snus.
If the caves are my guts, this must be the place where the stones are first formed.
The caves are my guts.
Phosphoresce and rise, singing through the tunnels. Everything here is bound by the rise and fall, like a tide. Perhaps the whole island is actually underwater.
I'm just telling you, if these are their guts and you have all those stalactites, if we now know that's what they are, you probably need a colonoscopy. I'm just telling you. It's probably necessary. And it rhymes, so it must be true. I can't fault you for that logic. Okay. Guess I'm going back. Those, if you definitely took those to the pooper, that's gonna pierce a colon. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. Evans, in your line of work, have you ever taken a stalagmite or stalactite to the pooper? Let us know in the chat. The world is wondering. What's the worst thing you've ever taken to your pooper? No. No. Only on Tuesdays. Makes sense. Under NDA, sorry. That's a sharp one. How is your offline dwarf fortress? How's your offline fortresses go? Off-stream fortress going, Evans? Everything going well with it? What are these? These are like cool crystal formations.
This is a drowned man's face reflected in the moonlit waters.
You do?
Maybe a dead shepherd who has come to drunk drive you home.
I don't see a drowned man's face. Or am I the drowned man? Who lit these candles? Because these candles aren't going to burn forever, so someone lit those candles. Behold! Damascus and taken? Bacon? Bacon? Perfected the mist gen, so I have 19 super fucking happy dwarves right now. That's good. And how many dwarves died in the making of that? Also important. Away from being a city. And it shall be a something heap. A fungus heap? Maybe? Fungus heap? What's a fungus heap? I don't know. 0 have died. Little unbelievable. If you don't have any dying, you're not trying. That's what I say. And it's true because it rhymes, remember? We already established that. Do I have to swim now? I do. Oh, good. The sound detail in this game is incredible. Dwarven science has progressed to minor safe. Whoa! Whoa! I didn't mean to drop. No! 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 Was that supposed to happen? Okay, it was supposed to happen. Bathroy starting to want to play that game after listening to both play? He should. Yes. One of us. One of us. Gooble gobble. Gooble gobble. One of us. One of us. We accept him's one of us. Yes, one of us. One of us. We'll gobble, gooble, gobble. Will I ever get out of this cave? The world may never know. Yes, I guess I am. We knew a lot sooner than later. What was this? This was like a tent. I've played too many games involving cannibals. I expect it now. I'm like, where are the cannibals going to show up?
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
The question is, though, has Bathroy actually purchased it yet? And if not, Bathroy, this is your permission to purchase it. Get it. Love it. Enjoy it. It's for you. You deserve it.
I returned home with a pocket full of stolen ash. Half of it fell out of my coat and vanished into the car's upholstery. But the rest I carefully stowed away in a box I kept in a drawer by the side of my bed. It was never intended as a meaningful act, but over the years it became a kind of talisman. I'd sit still, quite still for hours, just holding the diminishing powder in my
Okay, that's like a
palm,
defibrillator.
In time, we will all be worn down into granules, washed into the sea and dispersed.
Somebody's dead. It may be me. I don't know. Yes, join us. Strike the earth, Bathroy. So perhaps if I had ever paid attention to anything in chemistry class, that might make sense to me, but it doesn't. Chemistry was definitely not my forte. Okay, there's all kinds of things carved into that.
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook.
Oh,
He
sticky.
worked for a pharmaceutical company with
Sticky-
an office based on the outskirts
Sticky
of
handle. I don't want to hear it.
He'd
No.
been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
Light from heaven shone around him is what that said.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach.
You did?
Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I
Oh.
folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic. And I
Didn't-
sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Well, no, you didn't, because there's still some floating there. So obviously, you did not watch them sink. Oh, here's some stairs over here. This game has a very good eerie feeling. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. And eggs. Excellent. See, I'm a genius. Excellent. Come on. Come on. But yes, when it comes to Dwarf Fortress, I'm a little bit afraid to play with the granite diamonds. They're doing so well, but it's so hard to play when you're above 150 something dwarves. Sorry, I think we are too excited. Excellent pun, my love. I love it. And Evans is dying inside.
The pain in my leg sent me blind for a few minutes as I struggled up the cliff path. I swallowed another handful of painkillers, and now I feel almost lucid. The island around me has retreated to a hazed distance, whilst the moon appears to have descended into my palm to guide me. I can see a thick black line of infection reaching for my heart from the waistband of my trousers.
Well, there's someone over there.
It's all the world like the path I have cut from the lowlands towards the aerial.
Are you a cannibal? Oh, I don't think that's actually a person. I think that's just something that looks like a person from afar. Depending on how fast we get through this game, because it's only supposed to take an hour and a half, I think.
Begun my voyage in a paper boat.
I do have a very special short, scary game that I plan on playing.
I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the ship.
If we have the time for it.
Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle.
And as he was
Aeroplane leaves
proceeding
the
on his
cage,
journey,
past parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
are we going to come together? Is that a promise? You know, I've made that promise sometimes before, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. and was coming near to Damascus. So this is the story of Paul on his way to Damascus. If you know anything about biblical scripture, that's the story of Paul on his trip to Damascus. It's what it's given you.
This, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Sent you a vid on Discord private message for you and DFG was about 10 minutes before the snack steal. All right, I will check that out once this stream's over. I will give one hint about the short, scary game that I'm going to be playing, if I have the time for it. It involves a cat.
Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther.
Well, that doesn't sound good. I mean, you shouldn't have promised to come together if you were going to be fixed, but... that's just my thoughts. So far, my thoughts on this is it's got a very good story to it. Everything looks good, sounds great. It's a beautiful game. But it feels like they forgot to have, like, gameplay elements in it.
Sign of Jakobsen's flock, for the empty bottle that would incriminate him. I have scoured this stretch of motorway 21 times, attempting to recreate his trajectory, the point when his heart stopped dead and all he saw was the moon over the Sanford Junction. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all, and it was not his fault. It was the converging lines that doomed him. This is not a recorded natural condition. The gulls do not fly so low over the motorway and cause him to swerve. The paint scored away from his car in lines like an infection, making directly for the heart.
So Esther died in a car accident. He's talking about the person that hit her. At least that's what I think is going on. I'm trying to come to an understanding of why it happened. Best video you've ever seen?
I've run out of places to climb.
Well, I can't wait to see it then.
I will abandon this body and take to the air.
I don't think I'm a bird, dude.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him?
I don't know.
Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me.
Totally a bird?
Rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone.
I don't think I'm a bird.
A beacon.
You've heard me squawk.
Get you.
Oh my God.
Drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Oh. Okay. Sure. Hope I turn into a bird quick. I don't think it's gonna happen. Oh, it did. I'm a bird. Esther. I have no control of this. Yep, I'm a bird. You saw my shadow there. I turned into a bird. I was a burb. Yep. That's me. I was a burb.
Come back.
Come back. Gonna do something, game? You gonna do something? That was it. That was the game. All right.